Today we're looking at something that every seller should know related to your shipping on eBay. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at shipping and insurance on eBay. What's right, what's safe, what works. I'm going to show you a real example as well from my personal store so you can see exactly what is honestly happening regardless of what you read on the pages. Now, eBay uses ShipCover for insurance. They use that for their shipping international options, eBay International Shipping. They also use it as an add-on as opposed to you purchasing it through the post office. Now, if you've ever dealt with the post office for insurance claims, you know sometimes they don't want to always pay out. I've had to fight and fuss to get some money back on a couple occasions where something was insured, was never delivered, and it was a hard push to get my money back. It took forever as well. Now, it did end up in my favor in those cases. Now, I have used ShipCover as well. And in that case, I did not get all of my money back. It was quick, but they did not give me all my money back. There were some stipulations in there on the policies, no matter which one you're using, whether it's the eBay International Shipping option that already includes $100 of that insurance, or whether you're actually purchasing it instead of the postal insurance. So let's hop over right now. We're going to show you a claim that was filed against me. We're going to show you the end result, and then we're going to look at the actual policies for their insurance. Now, here is a case that was opened up against us for an item that wasn't received. Fine and dandy, it does happen. You're going to get a case that an item wasn't received with no delivery confirmation at some point. Now, this is an overseas option, and I used eBay International Shipping to ship this because it included insurance already, plus it was a couple dollars cheaper than normal insurance. So I saved a few bucks. If everything goes okay, this arrives fine, it's far cheaper that way. Now, this right here is a 8x10 photo, and it's sold for $29.99. It was shipped internationally through eBay International Shipping. It's a discount. It's cheaper than shipping it normally. That cost $24.80. So all told, once you add in all the fees, $49.80 is what is due back to me through this because of the loss. eBay actually refunded my fees, so $4.99 were refunded back through the fees, which I didn't have to pay. Now, there was, I do believe, the processing fee, which eBay keeps. Fine, that's the way it is. I'm not going to quibble. It was already stated that's what's going to happen. Now, the person just opened up a nice request. They weren't like demanding. It wasn't anything weird. Basically, that it didn't arrive. I came back with sorry to hear, the whole works. I checked with our post office to see if there was anything I could do or anything they could tell me or track. It did appear at some point that it was a possibility that the item was refused. No idea if that's true. It's hard to tell on these issues when they're overseas. I'm just going by what was referred back to me. So that's exactly what I told them. I asked if they would wait a few days. Well, after a few days, I hadn't heard anything. The post office couldn't find out anything. I went ahead and refunded them. But since I used eBay International Standard Delivery option on this item, I have some recourse on it. It includes $100 of insurance. Now, if you go to eBay International Standard Shipping Options page, everything is broken down on here. They offer the protection. There's actually a link right here. If you click on this link, this page pops up and it defines pretty much everything. It's all standardized. Follow the rules, ship legal items, follow the rules of the shippers you're using, and the whole works. Print your label through eBay, standard label charges, expiration on the materials, and the whole works. Now, there is some statement on here which you really got to pay attention to. You may be liable for additional charges in certain circumstances when using our services. So we're going to pop on down here. Again, this is all just standardized stuff. Follow the rules. Consent to open. A canine could inspect it, which is no big deal if it's going overseas. Again, this is international shipping we're talking about. A post office, another country could use a dog. So sliding down, there's a section here that explains the additional charges. You may be liable to pay us for additional costs if we incur as a result your failure to comply with these terms. This will vary depending on the circumstances. Okay, so here we go. For example, failed deliveries might incur costs for parcel return, storage, or destruction. You may also incur additional costs if you fail to correctly package an item or provide incorrect weights and dimensions of your parcel. Now, this is something that's been there for a little while. People talk about if you don't add dimensions, the post office could ding you. These things have already been in place depending on which services you're using already. Most people are just unaware of some of these extra costs in here. The biggest one on here, though, is if your item doesn't get delivered and is lost, you could have a fee added on. That is the biggest one for me. Now, on this same page, if you slide down, let's see, where is it? Farther down. Again, I'll have links to this page here under claims process, how and when to file a claim. You cannot file a claim until it's at least 30 days from the day the item was mailed, the label was printed. There is a little button that says here. When you click on that, this form will pop up, and this is what you need to fill out to file for your claim. It's the only way to file for a claim. Again, it has to be over 30 days. You need to fill out every single spot on here. Nothing can be left. It all has to be correct, so double check it. And then simply click the File the Claim button. Now, it's really quick. It took us 3 days to get a response and the refund at the very same time. Now, this is the refund notice. The refund goes through PayPal. So if you don't have a PayPal account, chances are you will have to create one to get your refund through ShipCover. So if you don't have PayPal, make sure you're able to get it if you're going to use ShipCover and you want your money back. There are time frames. There are things you have to do, and that is literally stated in that page under terms and conditions. Now, what you'll notice is the amount is not the same. I am losing some money through this because, again, they have the disclaimer of extra fees. Since the item wasn't delivered, they kept $8 basically out of this. So I did lose some money on here. I could have potentially got all of my money back had I used the U.S. Postal Service. So keep that in mind when you're using this. There is a liability risk because you could be billed for a certain percentage of that. If this was a heavy item, wasn't something small, the fees could have been a heck of a lot more that they kept out of my refund. Now, obviously, I still lost the money. I did save a few dollars using it, so I only lost about $4 or $5 at this point total out for this item. Fine with it. I already made a profit off the items. It was a big bulk purchase, but most people don't have that luxury, so that could cost you. I would take all of that into consideration if you plan on using ShipCover in any way, shape, or form, because it all works basically the exact same way. When they give you money back, there is always some stipulation when you file a claim for any of the services that ShipCover offers through eBay. I am sure eBay has some monetary gain from using the service. Mind you, eBay International Delivery is handled through eBay. So the first leg of the run that gets it to the other country, once it gets to eBay, is in eBay's possession. It could even be eBay's fault, but after all said and done, I'm losing about $5 out of the deal. Someone made $5 for me to sell something and for it to get lost. Now, as I said, this does show up when you go to ship an order. Here is an order here. If I go to ship it, I can click on the Add Additional Liability Coverage, and ShipCover is always the first one that comes up. That's why I say chances are eBay gets a kickback of the percentage. Maybe it's a 3% fee. I don't really know, but chances are they get a kickback from this, in my opinion, based on how it's structured here. The same basic coverage applies when you purchase it for individual items for just extra insurance. So be aware of that. Now, this is the terms of service for that ShipCover option. When you're going to ship an item and you want to add the insurance, it's not going anywhere but in this country. These are the terms, the prices, and the conditions for it. And again, there are some things you can't ship that you should be aware of. Now, with this option here, it says you can't ship coins, bullion, loose diamonds or stones, stocks, bonds, currency. That means vintage currency as well. None of those would be covered, as well as several other items. Now, this is somewhat different than the option that you get for eBay International Standard Delivery Insurance. That one does not exclude coins. Here it is right here. Coins is not even mentioned in this one here. So one option's shipping international. You can ship a coin and it looks like they will cover it. Or possibly the actual instructions or the banned items, included items may not be correct. It's hard to say. Now back over to just the standard option here. Again, back to the standard ship cover option for your parcel. You're shipping an item from Chicago to California. You want to add extra insurance on it here. There are some stipulations that it doesn't actually cover. Coverage is contingent upon the carrier being liable for loss, damage, or shortage related to a package. So if something's missing out of it and the post office doesn't claim responsibility or puts it off on you, chances are they're not going to actually cover it. Another line right below that, again, conditions of this insurance. Part B on here talks about a deductible. It will be deducted from the amount of claim you shall be entitled to and be responsible for collecting from the carrier any part of the deductible for which the carrier is liable. Now, I don't see a deductible on eBay's International Standard Delivery Insurance. That is not present on there. It looks like no matter which version of the insurance you use, they could keep a certain percentage of it no matter what because it's built into that. They could say the deductible is anything. I don't see a dollar amount for a deductible at all. The point being is that if you use ship cover, chances are you're never going to get all of your money back. There is always going to be some sort of fee or some sort of charge for any of the service you use, above and beyond the actual fee you pay, because everyone in here has some sort of option. Again, I lost $5 on mine, so somebody kept $5 for an item that I shipped out and that was lost. Again, eBay handled the shipping for that item, but I am still out $5. I know at the end run, when it goes to the actual country of origin that this is going to, it's out of eBay's hands, so I can't put the blame on anybody, but I still lose $5. If you use them for insurance for an item like right here, shown at the bottom of every print label page, or even when you're going to print in bulk, this option shows up everywhere. It's always going to be ship cover for the main insurance. You can change it. You can use the U.S. Postal Insurance as well. Costs a little more, but you got a potential that there's not going to be any fees collected for it. Overall, at the end of the day, I am probably saving using this because I rarely have ever had to file any sort of claim. This claim's probably the first one that I've had to file in probably a couple of years, so it doesn't happen very often. So overall, I am probably still saving, but keep in mind, if it's a heavy item, there could be a big fee added onto it. There are some other fees that they talk about in here as well, so whichever version of ship cover you're using, again, this is the one that is pushed by eBay for every type of insurance you need, international or not, you could lose some of the actual total cost of the item, whether it's from the deductible, whether it's from the carrier saying they're not liable for it. Again, that's literally stated in here. Or they have a fee because the item was lost or disposal. Again, it makes no sense if the item was lost. If they can't find the item, why am I paying a fee for disposal or return or anything else like that? The item is gone. The item hasn't shown up. There's no tracking. There's nothing left of the item. It's just gone in the country that it was supposed to go to. So everybody, if you use any of these services, 100% read over everything in here. There's a ton of stipulations that could affect what's covered, whether you're blowing your money on here, whether they're going to keep a certain percentage of your money, or even give you any money whatsoever. If you break any of the rules on here, any of the procedures, any of the steps, they can keep all of your money and not pay out at all. That violates the insurance policy between you and them covering the package that you're actually sending out. There's also stipulations on if it's a pair. Let's say you send a pair out, a pair of shoes. One doesn't get there or one is damaged. They're not going to refund you for the entire purchase. You're only going to get compensated for the one shoe, the damage on that shoe as well. And the damage will be determined by them. So you're not going to get a full pair of shoes covered on stuff like this. A pair of salt and pepper shakers that cost, a couple $100. It does not matter. They don't have to cover both items. If the buyer isn't happy with that, that's on you then. They're not going to deal with it. They could send it back. It just means you're not going to be able to claim it that way as well. You're far safer if you never want to have a risk, or you get a lot of these types of things, to use the U.S. Postal Service. Or better yet, if it's cheaper, use UPS. I have never had UPS deny a request for a refund, and they have always refunded all of my money as opposed to keeping a percentage of it. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
You can make the difference between a loss and a profit.
Me?
Hard for you to see, huh? How about you being the one-guy manager for a while?
Well, sure, maybe someday, but...
Fine, but my time's a little tight. I can't wait till someday. You see, Arthur, I have a date in a half an hour with one of your competitors.
Well, then why are you bothering to feed me all this?
Spirit of competition, Arthur. Everybody starts even. Now then, the one-guy manager.